Oh, I think this is the room. So, I didn't get the trophy, so this is our chance.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay, so I gotta do the speed run all over again.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Which is fine.
Feeling a
Luckily, it
wave
doesn't
of
take
disbelief,
too long.
Stanley
It's just more
decided to go
tedious than
up to his
anything, you know,
coming to a
redoing
staircase.
everything.
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
And this should be open, right?
Here's the door, just go.
Thank you. So we should save a good amount of time since that room spawned in. I wonder if that's intentional. After we completely finish the first round, then that room spawns. So we can get the trophy if that's what we're looking for. Or if, you know, that was just a stroke of luck. Because there's other rooms too, you know. There's the blue room. That's all I can remember. With the dog barking thing.
Stanley felt the cool breeze.
Yeah, there we go. Speed run.
The feeling of liberation.
Okay, good. So now the only trophy I have left
the
is
new
the
path
Tuesday one.
Before him. This was exactly the way.
It's not too bad.
Right now.
It's more so just like I can't believe that's actual thing.
And Stanley
like
was happy.
Wow, really? Is that how you feel? 24 hours. Like I can just leave my PlayStation on while I'm sleeping, I guess. That's 8 hours a day. And yes, they said, well, on Reddit, that's the first thing that popped up. It did say the time you spend on a Tuesday is cumulative, so it doesn't need to be one whole Tuesday. I'm not sure how true that is, but I'm assuming then that would mean it just counts the hours you do, basically, and it has to be on Tuesday. So if I do an hour one day, 30 minutes the other, 1 minute one day on Tuesdays, all Tuesdays, then it should be fine. And I can change the time on my
meeting
clock.
room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone.
Right?
Where are we going today? The bucket asked. Stanley just
Okay, so yes, I think
anywhere they went
the first ending I want to try is obviously the
with him.
beginning one.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read,
because we did get
Mind Control. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
Okay, let's try.
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
I have to try it.
At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them. As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Okay, bucket, save me.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end as it was crushed violently to death.
We made it.
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
Is this one different? It feels different, I'm not sure. Welcome you to the grand exhibit. We are standing at the precipice of knowledge. Much like a bucket itself, the human mind is frequently empty within. A cavernous void, but through use of the exhibit... Okay, that's too long. I was gonna do it, but no. There's a chair.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
2 handles. Ooh. So we get a bucket exhibit, which is pretty cool if you ask me. Inferno bucket. The stress bucket, an analogy. They're eating from the bucket. Very nice.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
The hanging bucket. Oh. Oh, I took it. I didn't think I could. I don't know. Hello?
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision for...
Nice. The only thing I would say that I hope
Stanley and the
I
bucket walked
wish this
straight
game
ahead
had
through the large door that
would
read
be no loading
Mind
screens.
Control Facility.
Because, you know, in my mind, I'm just thinking, like, there's so many games, you know, with way better graphics.
The lights
and,
rose
you know, a lot
on an
more to
enormous
it.
room packed with television
And they have loading
screens.
screens too, obviously.
What horrible secret did this place
But
hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
They have more to load, so it makes sense, if that makes sense, you know? So, I don't know, in my mind, it's just like, why does this need
The monitors
loading
jumped
screens?
to
Especially
life,
when they're
and
that
Stanley
long.
nearly dropped
They're
the
not
bucket
too
in
long,
shock.
obviously. Like,
Everyone
unbearably
in the
long,
office
but
was being
they're noticeably
videotaped,
long, like, okay,
monitored
you're
by
just waiting
guinea
there in
pigs.
silence.
The bucket
So, you
had
know, in
never
my mind,
seen
I'm just like,
anything
why
like this,
exactly
and
do
it
they
very
take so
nearly
long?
burst into
Compared
tears
to, like,
as Stanley
games
cradled
with
it
way more
gently,
graphics,
reassuring
way better
it that
graphics,
everything
more
would be fine.
data to load, I guess you can call it. Like, where's that?
Was the bucket under the mind control
I know I
facility's
played
influence
Ghost
as
of
well?
Tsushima,
Had the bucket been told
and,
to
you know,
do
that's a
things
very
it didn't
good
wish
game.
to
It's
do?
open world too,
What kinds
mind you.
of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions
So
raised
yeah, it's like,
furiously in
how
Stanley's
come
feeble mind.
that is open world? It does have loading screens too, I'm sure, in some aspects of it, but other than that, you know, it's
No!
open
He
world.
screamed into the bucket. He
Like, how can
couldn't
they have an
accept
open
it.
world, but
His
this game
own
can't
life in someone else's
be, like,
control?
open?
Never! He
At
squeezed
least open
the
enough to
bucket
where
tighter. His one friend in the entire world.
it doesn't need
At
loading
this point,
screens, like,
he could trust no
everything's
one
preloaded.
except for the bucket.
I guess, you know, it is like an indie game, I'm assuming, just based
But
on,
here
you
was
know,
the proof.
it.
The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past
Okay, you
began
know what,
to
I'm
sink
gonna do
in,
the
Stanley decided
all
that
first,
this
the regular version. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's my only, like, oh, I wish, you know, it could be different, especially
Stanley
since
and the
this is
bucket
like a
waited in
console
blackness.
specific version.
was it over?
I'm like, they couldn't do that, you know. You couldn't change that aspect of the
Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth.
I would like to roller skate.
Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and to... What? Wait.
Oh, I guess
What was
so.
happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty.
You can climb
Until
that.
finally the truth hit
No,
Stanley
it's
square
pretty
in the
tall.
face.
Never mind.
This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No, no, no. Stanley can't
That's fair.
leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his
Can you turn on
arms.
the lights?
Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Find out what? That he died? I'm assuming of starvation.
And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley
Okay,
decided
we're
that this
here.
machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket. But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror.
Blame it on
Had
the
this
bucket?
been the
It was
bucket's
me,
plan
I did
all
it.
along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds. Silly, silly birds. The control buttons became active again.
Oh, I have to choose. Oh, I'm saying all because I don't want to go back and do it. But what if it changes the outcome? Which one looks silly? Oh no, I like this one though, the hawk. This one is like a pigeon or something. I guess pigeons are pretty silly though. Or doves. I'm not sure what that is, but this definitely looks like a hawk or an eagle. You. Oh.
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal
Oh, wow,
genius
that's
in his
cool.
hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
Nice. Is it gonna end or do I go back? Oh, okay, good.
Who turned up the bumpscosity so high? I like bumpscosity as much as the next person, but 100 is quite a lot, wouldn't you say?
No. Oh yeah, the bumpscosity, it doesn't do anything. That option, where is it? I don't know if I ever talked about it. This one, we earned it from. Oh right, that one was really tedious too, but it wasn't a trophy. I don't think it was unlocking that secret room. We had to like switch on all the options. That was terrible. And so is this Tuesday one. But yeah, it doesn't do anything besides give you occasional different dialogues like he just did right now. Oh, but I was gonna say, when
Still
he
no
mentioned the
one was here.
rollerblading bucket.
Stanley needed the bucket's warmth
Or
and
was it
comfort now
rollerblading
more
or
than ever.
skating?
Perhaps
They're
his
pretty
boss's
much kind of the
office
same,
was where he'd
but
find
obviously
answers.
different. But I was gonna say, I would love to have some rollerblades, but I'm just not. I would never be sure if it's safe, or like I'm not sure if it is safe with like the roads you have normally or like the sidewalks. Like over here where I live, some areas don't even have sidewalks, so I would need to kind of pivot on the road a little bit, and who wants to do that first of all? But also there's stuff like drainage ways for the water, so there's kind of like a little dent or decline, I guess you can say, where the water would go, and the road and the pavement, I guess you can say. So the concrete, then there's like a little like, you know, where you could potentially fall.
Coming
There's
to a
that, and
staircase,
also just
Stanley
general
and
cracks
the
in the
bucket
road as
walked
well, if there
upstairs to
is
the
any, or
boss's
like in the
office.
sidewalk, if there is a sidewalk. Like that as well. Like, would I just instantly fall if I ran over it, or would I run over it, you know, just, and nothing would happen? I don't know. I guess that could be answered if I search it up on Google, but I don't know.
Stanley
I
just
guess
couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
That's interesting.
He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad.
I was about to say, at first it sounded like just the normal dialogue.
I must find it.
I was about to say,
Far off
he's
in the
not
distance
mentioning
now,
the
he
bucket.
heard it, calling
That's
to him.
strange.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me, the bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley. Find me.
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along.
Oh.
It was incredibly painful.
I thought it was about to be that. Like
Stanley
a god
doubled
bucket.
over in agony and blacked out.
Oh. Was that it? I remember, I think this ending ended in...
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Yeah, something like this. Where she saw
Mariella woke up on a day like any
having
other.
an episode.
She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
I was thinking, having a bucket wouldn't be too bad, you know, having to carry it around. Because you could basically just use it as like a purse, right? Or like something more, what would you call it? Gender appropriate, because, you know, it's a bucket. It's not a purse necessarily. But, you know, you could put stuff in it. Maybe even your lunch or your breakfast, your food.
All of
your
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Well, not put a
Stanley
briefcase in it,
decided to
but
go
it
to
could
the
act
meeting
as a
room.
briefcase
Perhaps he
if
had
you put
simply
your
missed a
papers in
memo.
it. The one with like
Good,
the
said the bucket.
kickball.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
In here, said the bucket. Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Oh,
Now pick up the phone, said the bucket. Pick up the phone and it will take us back home, where we can go about life together.
what? Pick it up.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Okay. It looks a little different from what I recall. Oh, is this my bucket? To take me to work with you.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
I wonder if I can go back out here. And oh no, the chair doesn't exist. Take the bucket home with you? Okay, wait, I want to check over here. Oh, never mind.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well?
Where's
To
my
see him
bucket?
delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say
Maybe.
something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I
I think
don't
I've
know
seen
if he'll
these
listen to me.
decorations before. Go back to work. Where's my
Well, I'll
bucket?
try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think. It can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it.
Eh,
It
not just a
doesn't do
liquid.
anything else.
Don't listen to the loud man. Press X for us to go back home.
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
To ignore anyone in your life except for me. Okay.
It's sad.
I'll do
I
it.
suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
You believe I'm real, don't you, Stanley?
Yes, I suppose on closer
yeah.
inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
To relive this same day with me over and over.
Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
To go home. To work, to home, to work, to home. Let's do it.
Oh no. I'm having feelings for the bucket. No.
Ew.
What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to
Be with
say.
it in
Do
what
anything
way?
it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes. The bucket could
Let's be
tell
with
me
the
what to
bucket.
do in this troublesome
It's
situation.
12 o'clock. Well, 12:30. Let's be with the bucket then. Is that appropriate? I don't know. Oh, right, they want me to take it. I was
Stanley,
like, huh?
give me the bucket. Give it to me. Give me the bucket, Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give it or I'll...
Close your eyes. Go back to work, Stanley. No, he didn't mention me jumping off that this
No,
time.
stop. Look there on the wall. You see? There's a sign right there. It says, no buckets past this point. Stanley,
Oh.
how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless... What if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
Okay, sure. I'll go with that. So does that mean there's only gonna be one ending and not two like last time in the actual room? Ooh.
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket.
Okay.
Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin.
Right, what defines a bucket?
Item 1. Is this a bucket?
No, it's more than a bucket.
Correct. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Ah.
Item 2. Is this a bucket?
No.
Correct. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
I'm gonna say no for all of them.
Item 3. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. This is a bucket.
No. It's more than a bucket.
Item 4. Is this a bucket?
Yes.
What? Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an enormous machine that tills the earth.
That's
I
a
think
nice
this was a
tractor.
gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one.
That tractor's nice. It's fancy.
Is this a bucket?
It is.
Correct. This is a bucket.
I wonder what he would have said if I said no.
Item 6.
Or maybe it's just
Is this
simple.
a bucket?
No.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha. Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere.
Yes.
Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here. And I don't appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something. And therefore nothing could possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing?
Yes.
Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket?
Nothing is more than something. Do I believe that nothing is a bucket? Yes.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket?
Yes.
Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely. Okay, here we go.
No, don't do it.
What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket?
Yes.
Every single thing in the game was a bucket? My God, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a
if
bucket
is
either.
nothing,
Oh, this is wonderful.
and nothing is everything.
We're not buckets.
Then everything
Yes,
is a bucket.
I actually feel much
know?
more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go,
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room.
Okay,
Go
let's
somewhere
try.
else.
Ready?
The
Pow!
cargo.
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend.
Okay.
So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
Okay, this is day number 295. Tape number... I don't even know. I've lost track.
This is different.
Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down. It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms.
I'm trying to
Why
think. Does that sound like the
everything
narrator?
feels
Just
so-
in a different, he's making a different voice, or is that someone completely new?
What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it. Yes.
I feel like maybe it
It's
might be him.
unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket.
He's gonna pimp the
This
bucket out. Okay.
It's my golden ticket. But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get... What's that? Who's there? Camporata.
Okay. That doesn't really explain what happened. I'm assuming he's talking about the bucket we have. I don't know, he got like possessed or something. Some evil spirit came in and like killed him. I don't know.
Oh, good Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here.
The ending where
I
we saw
knew
the
you'd
screen.
find this place eventually.
Oh, nice. It looks different.
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've
Really?
come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before.
That's fair.
Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket,
I
but
kind
you're
of agree.
spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
Okay, wait. What if I go in here? Close this. Oh, nice. We can stand. There you go. Nice. We're all tucked in. Nothing? Okay. Just had to check.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
Oh. Okay, we're doing the Adventure Line.
Now
Two.
this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content
I never heard
exactly
that
like
one.
this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something. Don't you get it, Stanley?
No.
We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character.
Insert
This
bucket to
is the
destroy.
Bucket Destroyer.
I'll never,
I think it'll make a
never
wonderful
do it.
new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
No.
Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
Oh, I just noticed this. Was that always there? That little circle? Around the
Now
little
listen
dot
to
in the
me.
middle?
It's crucial that you
You
give
see
it
when
the bucket.
I back up.
I don't know what
it
the
goes
Bucket
away,
Destroyer
but-
will do if it can't destroy your bucket.
Like, is that
Destroying
letting me
buckets
know I
is
can
all it
interact with
knows.
something? I'm gonna
That
try that
is
when we
its
restart.
singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give
Yeah, I
the
guess I'm gonna
fans
have
what
to do
they want.
this
Hurry
ending
and
again. So put the bucket in there. I'm assuming we died. Are we in heaven? In Bucket Destroyer heaven?
The Bucket Destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
Were you? I don't think so. So yes, that's
How
pretty much
long
it.
was
I
he
think
sitting
I'm
there?
sure there's
Stanley wondered to himself.
at
Minutes?
least one
Days?
ending that
Centuries?
I'm missing.
Did something crucial
I'm just
happen
not sure
while my
where or like
senses
how
were
I would
turned?
get it. I don't have like
He
a
made
whole
note
list
to
on
be
me
more
right
careful
now.
with time from
But
now
I think
on.
I do remember not doing this, so I'm gonna try to do it. He gave us an option. Oh, I don't know which one though, so it'll be kind of pointless. It's a 50-50 chance that I'll get it right. Well, he asks us a question, and I know he mentions he's like, is it worth it doing everything all over again just to see what the other option is? And I don't remember. Oh, I'll try to see if it rings any bells. If not, I'll just exit
At
to the main
first,
menu.
Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Yes.
Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just restart the game any old time you want, like right now. You could have done it just then. Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain.
Okay.
There once was a man named Stanley, who people considered so manly. But the truth must be told, he was not very old and was quite particularly gangly. What Stanley liked most was buttons. He pushed them like some kind of glutton. He did it all day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function. Which is why he is in this parable, and lives an existence quite terrible. And if you are not strong and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable. Yes. You too will become quite unbearable.
I'm still here. I'm just listening to it. Well, I think this is a pretty good ending. A nice little corny song as the finale. I finished most of the game. Like I said, I still need the trophy, the Tuesday trophy. And I plan on getting it. I've been playing for, I would say, at least an hour now. So that's 1 hour down out of the 23. So yeah, I think I might just leave it. I guess I'll just leave the game on. Do I have any guesses as to if this will last forever? Maybe. No. It has to end. Maybe. I don't know. I feel like it could either go, it ends and he's just like, oh, well, you know, I'm just gonna leave you then. Like, kind of in the closet. If you stay too long, he just leaves eventually. And you're actually there alone. Or it's just on a loop and it'll keep playing forever. But yeah, I guess I'll end it off here. I was gonna end it off in the main menu. But, oh. It's slowing down. Okay, I think that's it. So there's nothing else to wait for. But yeah, this is a good place to leave off. This is the actual finale. I feel a little bit better about ending it here than I did before. Yeah, last time I just ended it because, you know, the epilogue. Epilogue? Yeah, the epilogue. And, you know, it just seemed right, but there was also that, oh, wait, I didn't do all the bucket endings either. And now that I know where everything is, it's much easier, obviously. So, yeah, I started thinking of that, like, in the middle. And after I finished Alien Isolation, or thought I did, I was like, okay, so now I have a little more time to actually finish that off and do it. So, yeah, I did it. Let me know if I'm missing any endings. I did the good ending, the bad ending, the basement ending, to the left. Was that the only ending? The only 3 endings? Then to the right there is the what's it called? The lift ending, you know, where you take the lift to the area. Then the jump off ending where you jump off of the lift, and then I guess that's the jump off ending when you jump off the lift and land on the ground below. And then the right side, there was only one ending for the bucket there, even though there was 2 paths last time. The vent ending and the left go back ending, but you take the elevator down. And then this ending as well. I think I did this. I'm pretty sure I did this one when he killed the bucket because it was evil. So yes, I think that's all of them. If not, let me know which ones I missed. I feel like there's one I'm not missing. I mean, I am missing at least one, but I can't place it right now. But yeah, for now, this will be the end of this. It was a pretty short playthrough as well. That's only 4 parts, which it's a pretty short game in general. It's not very expansive, I guess you can say. Yeah, this is the end of this short little mini playthrough. If you are watching, thank you for watching, and bye-bye.